Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing Highland Park Disc Golf Course in Joliet.
Highland Park is an 18-hole heavily wooded course that really focuses on more technical shots.
We hope you guys enjoy the review.
Hole 1 at Highland Park, sharp dogleg to the left. It requires a pretty strong hyzer, and it's pretty difficult to get there in 2.
Oh, absolutely. The trees on the left side of the fairway makes it super difficult to get a good shot in, and honestly, this is one of the hardest par 3s on the course.
It's an easy 3, but to birdie it feels tough because it just feels like it goes to the left just a little further than a natural hyzer should, you know?
Oh, 100%. And it's really deceiving. If you aren't careful, you will walk out of here with a bogey. I've had it happen multiple times.
Me too. And you see we have these, I'd call them, circle 2 putts?
Yeah.
They're doable. Birdie is
Absolutely.
doable.
And here we are on hole 2. We have a very strong dog leg right here with the fairway littered with trees. Honestly, it's a very difficult birdie, but it's a pretty easy par.
I'd say it's an easy par. And you see I go with a forehand. I believe it's a very overstable driver from Discmania.
And I go with a backhand here. I'm not much of a forehand player.
And then we both kind of just take a layup. Zach had a putt. Yours just really kept on going.
Yeah, honestly.
But 3's around the board. You'll see that a lot this course. Hole 3 feels similar to it, but a lot more straight and then to the right rather than just to the right. And in tournament play, the road you see is going to be out of bounds.
Absolutely. And so basically, I went for another backhand here. A lot of these holes really strive off of understable discs if you plan on going the backhand route.
Or if you can do a forehand, those work just fine too.
Oh, for sure. And I actually had a very nice putt
Yeah,
here.
there you go. That's a good cleanup for 2.
Absolutely.
That's great. But you can't be mad about 3s on this course.
All right, so now for hole 4. This is the hole that a lot of locals say should be a par 5. It's a super long hole. There are trees everywhere, and if you're not careful, you are screwed.
I'll disagree. I disagree with the locals, though. I think it's a true 4. I do.
It's a true 4, but for a lot of disc golfers, it's just so out of reach because of the placement of your shots.
Yeah, I agree. You see, I went forehand with my tee shot. I think it sets up, gives you a good angle. See how Zach's backhand kind of went to the other side. Right. If it anteed a bit more, he would have been in perfect position. But I think the forehand, see how I got the 3 there? I think that's what the forehand leads to.
And I put in for the 4 here. Not bad. Once again, pars.
I think that's how the backhand plays for a good 4. Hole 5 is a simple tunnel and then pinch out to the right. I like to go forehand on this, but I think a backhand turnover shapes it better.
Oh,
I do.
For sure. As you can see right here.
Look at that.
I have a nice turnover, and it really just... It gives me a nice putt for 2.
And honestly, even if you have too much power, a lot of times it ends up hitting one of those trees.
That's the beauty of the trees on this course. A lot of the times it just really will help you.
They serve as like a backboard, you know, and we both got 2s there. Great hole.
All right, and now we have hole 6. Honestly, this is my favorite hole in the course. You got that beautiful chasm followed by a strong dogleg left. Overstable discs really benefit at this hole.
And yeah, it's overstable, but more importantly, you want a disc with a strong fade because a lot of times you'll see on this course shots where you need the fade of the disc to be so strong, like you saw in hole 1.
Oh, absolutely.
And it leaves you with these putts, these long-range putts that sometimes you can get, as there, and then sometimes you just got to lay up and go
But
for 3.
a 3 is never a bad thing on this course.
Absolutely not. Hole 7, kind of a tunnel shot, but not really because there's many ways you can just kind of go outside of the trees and then back into the middle and have a nice, easy layup.
Oh, absolutely. As you can see on my tee off here, I did something that was literally just that. I used the trespass, threw it around one of the trees, and just let it land right onto the fairway.
Yeah, I had my destroyer, whipped it up, had it have a little bit of an anhyzer, had it fall and then fade right back into the center. And for this hole, it feels maybe reachable in 2 someday. I don't super have that distance, but it's a pretty far hole.
Oh, absolutely. And the trees don't really pose much of a threat. A good tee off really means that you can get it in 3 almost every time.
There's always going to be a gap.
Yeah. Hole 8. A short-ish hole. It reflects a lot of what hole 7 is, except the distance isn't quite there.
You'll see we both do this.
Oh.
It's right in our range. It's pretty short.
For sure. So I did similar what I did to 7 here. I just went on the outside of the tree back in. It's a tunnel shot, but not really, as 7 quite literally is.
I guess I kind of did the same. I went up the gut. Different putts, different places, but same score. So
absolutely.
It's cool stuff. Hole 9, one of the longest holes on the course, and it's really one of the easier par 4s. If you can get a decent drive and then a good upshot and a good putt, you're good for birdie.
Oh, for sure. On this hole, you're definitely going to be expecting drive, approach, and putt. But It should be fairly consistent as long as your drive is solid.
I think if you had like a monster roller, you could get there because otherwise an air shot is tough. There's trees up in the way to get there if you want to try and attack it for two.
Oh, for sure. And the entire right side is just
It's OB.
road.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
road.
OB if you're playing in a tournament.
So it's really
Did you see that go off the top there?
yeah, it was a close putt, but
Yeah.
you can never complain about par. Alright, so now we're on to hole 10. One of the easier holes on the course because it's basically just a field. As you can see here, we have a little bit of tree on the left, but nothing towards the right. So as long as you aim your drive with more of an overstable disc to the right, you should have no issues getting to this hole.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing spike hyzers. I see a lot of people doing turnovers. Really, it's kind of a pick your shot kind of hole. And that distance, it's reachable in two.
It's absolutely reachable.
I mean, obviously, it depends on the type of distance you have. We're not the strongest arms, but we're definitely no, slouches either. But it's a tough two, easy three, I'd say.
Absolutely, this should be the easiest par on the course.
Hole 11, a really interesting hole with the woods directly to the right of you, giving you not much room for error, kind of forcing the forehand or backhand turnover on you.
Oh, for sure. But the one thing I've noticed about this hole is it looks like it wants you to kind of hug the forest there, but as long as you stay to the left, you do have a nice shot at the pin.
Yeah, exactly. And I went for a forehand. I think I almost had a look for two. And your backhand landed. I mean, you're playing it safer here if your forehand game isn't too strong. And I had a long putt, but I decided to lay up. Could have made it. Someday I'll have the power. And what do we got going on? Someone's being silly.
All right, on to hole 12. So for hole 12, we have a very short shot, but it is very deceiving. The road plays a bigger factor than you'd think, especially if you hit the trees to the right or left of the fairway.
Yeah, most of the time here I go with a putter, a straight flying putter. I try to keep my my Luna and like my pig out of it that are overstable. Something understable you can kind of just, I'd say, toss down the fairway.
For sure. I use my Truth there, and as you can see, it's a stable mid-range, but I overshot the basket.
Yeah, it's easy to do that on this hole. Kind of get greedy and go for the ace run, but yeah. Next up, hole 13. It's a really cool upshot that kind of leans out to the left. You're going to want to take an overstable driver and just toss it really as hard as you can up the hill. Hope it doesn't hit a tree.
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing about a lot of these holes, and it's super apparent here, is that trees are everywhere on the fairway, and if you aren't careful, if you can't really weave your shots, you're going to have a really hard time with the trees.
Yeah, and with this hole, what's tricky is the second shot. Me and you, I'd say we both got pretty lucky on this to have kind of open looks. Me especially, I mean, look at that. But a lot of the times, they're going to be in the way on this hole.
Oh, for sure. The amount of times I've shot this hole and I've been right behind a tree is insane.
It's a lot.
Hole 14, one of the weirdest shots on the course, because there are trees everywhere littered in the fairway, and it's in mid-range distance, but most of the time your mid-range just can't reach the hole.
There's just no line. There's no line, it's luck.
Oh, absolutely. And on the left side of the fairway, we have a little chasm that so many times...
Oh my god, yeah. It's bad.
For sure. If you aren't careful, it will hyzer right into there, and you're looking for a 4 instead of a 2.
I was going to say, I've taken like a 2 on this hole before. Maybe once, but I've taken a 5 far more times.
For sure.
Hole 15. Get over it. Just get over that little hump and you'll be fine. Anything that hits the hill it's going to roll down. Any trees you hit, it's just going to roll down.
Oh, for sure. There are no good discs for this hole. You just have to allow it to hit the hill, and you have to allow it to land, or else you're going for a 4 or a 5.
I've shot every single disc in my bag on this hole. Like, I've shot a buzz, and like, it's been fine and it's been bad. I've shot a driver and it's been fine and it's been bad. It almost doesn't even matter. Just something to get up and then pitch up and get in for 3.
Absolutely. And now we have hole 16. Hole 16 is basically just hole 10 if hole 10 got super stretched. It's literally just an open field. We do have a little bit of forest to the left, but as long as you shoot right, there is no issues to be had here.
Yeah, and I value keeping my disc over getting a good score on a hole. So I always just shoot kind of... Yeah, like that. Have it hyzer out to the, to the left, but, you're shooting it out right. And you just pitch up for 3.
Oh, for sure. The amount of times that I've been playing with buddies and it got into the forest, the disc was gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I don't know. I feel like if I had a little more distance on my throws, my score would be so much better here. There's just so many times where I feel like I can't get the putt.
Beautiful putt, man.
Thanks. Hole 17, one of my favorite holes on the course, a really good par 4 that's super reachable in 3. You're going to want to take one of your drivers and just whip it out there, either a spike hyzer, as you can see I'm about to do, a nice shot that ain't hyzers, and then fades back in right into the middle of that fairway.
Oh, for sure. Now, the most important thing about this hole, at least off the tee, is you want to get around those trees. They really restrict your movement on the fairway, and getting past them is critical towards getting a birdie.
Exactly, and I was able to do the Anheuser route and fade back in and get in there. And Zach was able to do the Spikeheiser route and get back in there.
And we just go in for our putts. From here, the hole is pretty open. You shouldn't really have to worry about anything.
A good birdie.
Hole 18, truly a staple of the course and a beautiful hole. We have a fairway that is once again littered with trees, but we also have a beautiful right line where you can just go through the chasm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough par 3.
It really is, but as long as you can aim, the rest of your line shouldn't be too important.
Yeah, I was surprised by my shot. I could have putt if there weren't trees in the way, but I guess that's like kind of the point, you know.
Oh, for sure. And even though I was a little bit in the foliage here, as you can see, I have a really nice opportunity for 3.
And we were able to clean up our pars.
Hi, welcome back to the booth. So today we reviewed Highland Park. So Dan, what did you think about the course? Well, Highland Park Disc Golf Course. It's technical, it's wooded, it can be open at times. I think it's a good mix of everything. Oh, absolutely. If you want to practice both range shots and your technical shots, I struggled to find a better course than this one.
You know what it's great for?
What?
Your hyzer shots.
Oh, for sure. And even your Anheuser shots.
That's true, both.
Right. Or really your forehand. I don't have a strong forehand game, but it really wants you to have a good forehand game.
My forehand game really developed because of this course. If you saw it, holes 2, 3, and 4, I was shooting forehands all day off the tee. I mean, I had to.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I mean, you were doing great with the Anheisers. You had you were throwing a heat a lot.
Yeah.
Captain was pretty understable, helped you a lot.
As long as you can throw an understable disc backhand, I think you should be fine. But really, if you haven't developed a forehand game, you really want to develop one here.
One thing about this course is you can't be discouraged by it. If you take a big number on a hole, you got to keep trucking along, especially in tournaments.
The holes are so intimidating that if you allow yourself to become discouraged, each hole just becomes harder and harder, and they really don't let up, except for maybe, hole 10? And
yeah, those open holes are a bit easier to recover from.
Absolutely.
It really focuses on your mental game, too.
For sure. Because for hole 6 and hole, both of those chasm shots, or anything that really involves a road, it's so much more intimidating in person, especially during a tournament where the OB is just super relevant.
OB play in tournament is scary. And you know what else is great about this course? You use your entire bag. For sure. I'm fairly certain over the course of the video, if I didn't shoot every disc, the only reason was the camera didn't pick it up well. Yeah, and that's a lot of times when we don't shoot a disc just because the color isn't super matching. But I find myself using my understable mains, my overstable mains, my understable fairways, my overstable fairways, my overstable I'd say it's a great course. Most people know in the area, Illinois, if you don't look it up, the Canyons. We're going to try and get a review out there soon. For sure. But hit the Canyons, hit Highland, a couple other great courses in Joliet. Other than that, I think it's great. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. This has been Zach and Dan in the booth. Please remember, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe down below. Maybe leave a comment. Give us some tips. We're trying to get better, and we want to start reviewing more courses, so anything that you have to say helps us. Thanks, guys.